phosphorus forms various oxides with the oxidation numbers starting from +1 to +5. So it ranges from S3PO2, hypophosphorus acid, and or this is called phosphenic acid and phosphonic acid, phosphenic acid, phosphonic acid, or phosphorus acid, and we have orthophosphoric acid, and the different combinations of the thing are right from P2O5 to P2O6 to P2O7 and HPO3 n times. Phosphenic acid, phosphonic acid, orthophosphoric acid, and various combinations of S through P2O5, H4 P2O6, H4 P2O7, and like this. So these various oxides, they may have for all this thing the oxidation state is +5. Okay, and you have +4. Okay, and of course +1, +2. So +3. So these are the various oxidation states in which the oxides are available. The oxides are of uh, so these are called oxo acids, means they form a hydrogen bomb. Apart from oxides of phosphorus, let us see the oxo acids of phosphorus. Oxo acids of phosphorus forms different types of oxo acids, right from S3PO2, which is phosphenic acid with an oxidation state of +2, and then S3PO3, this is phosphonic acid, with an oxidation state of +3, and S3PO4, this is orthophosphoric acid, So apart from that, the multiple combinations of oxide, right from H4P2O5, H4P2O6, H4P2O7, and HPO3N. This is pyrophosphoric acid. Sorry, it is 1 minute. This is hypophosphoric acid. Hypophosphoric acid. This is metaphosphoric acid. All these have a +5 oxidation state. And this is pyrophosphoric acid. Hypophosphoric acid, and orthophosphoric acid, pyrophosphoric acid, and then metaphosphoric acid. So all these have a plus 5 oxidation state. This has a plus 4 oxidation state. 8. Sorry. This also has a plus 5 oxidation state. All the others have a plus 5 oxidation state. These are the various oxoacids of phosphorus. We go to group 16 elements. Group 16 elements are oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, and polonium. Oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, and polonium, they have a general configuration of NS2NP4. If you take this group as such, oxygen, the ionic size as well as the atomic size increases down the group due to the addition of more shells. Atomic and ionic size increases down the group, but oxygen is very exceptional because it's a very small element, so the size of it is very small compared, whereas for sulfur, the next group of the next group element has a bigger size comparatively when compared to oxygen. Ionic and atomic size increases down the group, and oxygen has the tendency to accept 2 electrons to gain the stability. So if you take otherwise, the electronegativity, oxygen has a high electronegativity, the electronegativity, the property of electronegativity decreases down the group. Oxygen has a powerful tendency to accept the electrons, 2 electrons, to become a stable octet of 8. So the electronegativity is highly electronegative, and highly electronegative next only to fluorine. Fluorine is the highest electronegative element, next one is oxygen. Then if you take the electronegativity, it decreases down the group. With polonium and all, it is literally not an electronegative compound. And if you take oxygen and sulfur, the oxygen and sulfur are available as non-metals. Selenium and tellurium are metalloids, and polonium is a metal. So this itself shows the metallic character. Slowly from a non-metal, it becomes a metal. The metallic character also increases down the group. So metal becoming metalloid, neither exhibiting metallic property or non-metallic property, and becomes a metal. So oxygen, sulfur, non-metal, okay, selenium. And if you take the oxidation states of oxygen are preferably -2. Oxidation state is -2 in most of the cases, except with when it forms a compound with the fluorine as OF2, it occurs a +2 oxidation state. When it is combined with the other powerful electronegative element like fluorine, it occurs a +2 state. Otherwise, it is mostly oxygen is -2. For other elements, the oxidation states ranges from +2 to +4, +2, +4, +6. And if you take things like sulfur or selenium or tellurium, the prominent oxidation state is +4 and +6. The +4 oxidation state, the ability to have a +4 oxidation state increases down the group. And if you take +6 and the +6 oxidation state, the ability to form a +6 oxidation state decreases down the group, with metals like polonium not even forming any +6 oxidation state metal. Otherwise, the prominent oxidation state is +4 for most of the group 16 elements except oxygen, which is -2. And oxygen is having an anomalous behavior. Of oxygen. As I have told, if you while discussing about this element, the ionization enthalpy also increases. I mean, the ionization enthalpy decreases down the group. The ionization enthalpy decreases down the group, and for oxygen, the ionization enthalpy is very exceptionally high because it is very difficult to remove an electron, whereas oxygen is being highly electronegative. It only accepts the electron, so it can never have a. It is the ionization enthalpy of oxygen is very high, comparatively high compared to the other elements. So this is about the anomalous behavior of oxygen. Not only that, oxygen being a very small element, that is very difficult to remove electron because the nucleus has the direct effect with the outermost shell. So because of this very small size and because of this highly electronegative properties, oxygen is different from the other elements of the group, being having a relatively high ionization enthalpy compared to the others, whereas the other ionization enthalpies decreases. So now let us see about the first element of the 16th group, namely dioxygen. Dioxygen is nothing but O2. O2, is a very vital compound, or is a vital element in our day-to-day life because it provides the vital life support, because oxygen is very important for respiration process of all living things, including plants and animals. Dioxygen is prepared in the laboratory by heating potassium chlorate with manganese dioxide as a catalyst. With manganese dioxide as the catalyst. And the commercial preparation of oxygen is from the air. From the air, the main impurities like carbon dioxide and water vapor are removed. Once these two are removed, the remaining gases are only nitrogen and oxygen. So this mixture of nitrogen and oxygen are liquefied, and then they are fractionally distilled to get a dinitrogen and dioxygen. Fractionally distilled to get the dioxygen. Okay, so I have told you nearly in the atmospheric air, 20 to 21% of dioxygen is there, which we are getting through the liquefaction and fractional distillation to remove the dinitrogen. So the oxygen has a lot of uses commercially. Otherwise, oxygen, if you take oxygen, as you know, it is property wise, it is highly electronegative. It has a combination of NS2, NP2, NP4. So even though there are more electrons, as much as 6 electrons in the outermost shell, it is paramagnetic. Due to the presence of unpaired electrons. Oxygen exhibits in three stable isotope as O16, O17 and O18. Three stable isotope O16, O17 and O18. And as you have this thing, it is also soluble in water to the extent of 3.08 centimeter cube in 100 centimeter cube. That is, in 100 centimeter cube of water, 3.08 centimeter cube of oxygen is dissolved. This quantity is very much essential, and it is sufficient for respiratory process of all aquatic living beings, because fishes and other sea aquatic life, they also require oxygen for respiration. This is possible by the atmospheric air getting dissolved in sea water or any water surface, whether it is a pure water or a sea water. Okay. So this I have told that as a paramagnetic, there's some isotopes of 16, 17 and 18. When if you take the chemical reactions of oxygen, oxygen, as you know, is a powerful, it is help in oxidation process. So it reacts with almost all metals and non-metals. Reacts with almost all metals and non-metals except gold and platinum. Except gold and platinum, it reacts with all metals and non-metals. The reaction is highly exothermic. But the initial stages we require some, we have to supply some heat. This is because of the oxygen double bond. This double bond has to be broken, and so there is a bond dissociation enthalpy involved, for which we have to supply some energy to start with by heating. Then once this breaking of this thing happens, the rest of the reaction is able to sustain on its own because of this exothermic property. It gives out heat. So it is almost, as I told, except gold and platinum, all the things they form they form the oxides with the oxygen. So it is a that the name oxidizing agent itself is derived from the ability of oxygen to form oxides with various metals and non-metals. And if you take oxygen, the uses of oxygen mainly, you know, it is very, very important for biological life, for the respiration. All living and living things, including plants and animals, require oxygen for their survival. It also is very much required in oxoacetylene welding process. You know about the welding process. Apart from acetylene, oxygen also is required in the oxoacetylene welding process. And of course, it is one of its important compounds is water, where, you know, that is very, again, an universal thing required for living beings. You know, unless there is oxygen and water, there can never be living being in any part of the important compound of oxygen is ozone. Ozone is an isotope of oxygen. Ozone, you know, is very well present in the atmosphere at a very high, at the top heights, right from the earth. And this is the ozone layer which prevents the earth from attack of the UV rays. So the UV rays are filtered by ozone layer. So it is also an important thing. Otherwise, the UV layers, if they are directly exposed to any living things, including humans, it creates a lot of allergic reactions. So ozone layer is very important for the prevention of UV layers, and it is very important in the point of view of controlling pollution. So ozone is prepared from oxygen by a silent electric discharge. When oxygen is slowly passed over a silent electric discharge, this oxygen is getting converted to ozone, and this reaction is an endothermic reaction. Endothermic reaction. So ozone, as I have told you, it is highly, why we are actually sending oxygen slowly, and we are sending it in a silent electric discharge. The main reason for sending it slowly in a silent electric discharge is ozone is highly unstable. Given a chance, it loses one oxygen to become O2. So the preparation of it requires very much a care. As oxygen has to be supplied slowly, and it has to be sent on a silent electric discharge. So property wise, you know, ozone is a powerful oxidizing agent because given a chance it decomposes to O2 and O, and this O is a nascent oxygen. Being a nascent oxygen, it is very, very powerful. So ozone acts as a powerful oxidizing agent, and not only that, it is a powerful bleaching agent. It bleaches anything and everything when exposed to it. Okay. So oxygen, given a chance, it becomes a stable dioxygen to give out that oxygen. So because of this, it is a powerful oxidizing agent. It converts lead sulfide to lead sulfate, oxidizes lead sulfide to lead sulfate, and it actually, any iodine salts, it displaces iodine from the iodide salts. When it's treated with any iodide salt, it displaces, or it actually separates iodine gas from any iodide salt. The usage of this reaction, oxygen plus setting it in any iodide salt, is used in the quantitative estimation of oxygen. Is used in the quantitative estimation of oxygen. Okay. So oxygen, the ozone as such, exists in two resonance form, in the sense the bond length of oxygen bonds is the same in both the cases. So it's a resonance hybrid. Okay, so the bond length, it is a resonance structure of both the compounds. It exhibits in two states. In the sense, if you take oxygen, has 6 here and gives out this thing, and this has 4. So double bond is formed between here. So this is 6, so there is another double bond here. These are the resonance structures, and as I have told you, it is highly unstable compound, gives out O2. Given a choice, it gives out O2. As I told you, ozone is very, very important as an oxidizing agent, or a powerful bleaching, or a powerful bleaching agent in the lab, in commercial application. And ozone layer, which is there in the atmosphere, prevents the ultraviolet radiations. All the refrigerants like chlorofluorocarbons exited from the refrigerators or air conditioners, they travel up to the top, the ozone layer, and they destroy the ozone layer, causing ozone depletion. The ozone depletion leads to lot of ultraviolet rays getting exposed to the earth, causing a lot of dermatological reactions like skin allergies and other. I was telling about the ozone. Ozone in general is represented as a resonance structure of these two compounds. Exists in two forms as resonance components. Some of the people write it as the second bond here as a dative bond or coordinate covalent bond. To avoid confusion, let us take this as the allotrope, as the resonance forms of ozone. Okay, and as I told you, the uses of ozone is powerful. It is a very powerful oxidizing agent, as a bleaching agent, and also it is used as a germicide. So to clean water, if you send ozone in water, all the germs and bacteria are cleaned, germicide and fungicide, or germicide and bactericide. And as a bleaching agent, because of this nascent oxygen, it bleaches the various substances, or it is as used as a sterilizing agent. I also told about oxygen, ozone, which is very essential for ozone layer, maintaining ozone layer, which prevents ultraviolet radiations to enter the earth. So the living beings are prevented from getting allergic reactions and dermal reactions.